Welcome back. We're going to go back to the scripture today and see how it applied in the first day that it was read and how it applies to us today, which is a great lesson for you as you get into scripture. Realize that it was written to a specific people at a specific time, and the first question we need to ask is, what is God saying to them? And then we ask after that, what is he saying to us today? I say that to tell you that there's a man named Paul writing this, and he's writing to a specific church, a church in Corinth, and he's going to mention a young man named Titus, who is one of his students in the faith, if you will, similar to Timothy, and also an author of one of the letters later in the New Testament. So it's in a historical setting, and I want to read just the final few verses of chapter 7 of 2 Corinthians. He says, in addition to our own encouragement, we were especially delighted to see how happy Titus was, because his spirit has been refreshed by all of you. I had boasted to him about you, and you have not embarrassed me. But just as everything we said to you was true, so our boasting about you to Titus has proved to be true as well. And his affection for you is all the greater when he remembers that you were all obedient, receiving him with fear and trembling. I am glad I can have complete confidence in you. Let's focus a little bit on verse 16. Paul says to the Corinthian Christians, I am glad I can have complete confidence in you. What's the context? Well, we heard it. The context is that Paul is sending Titus, has already sent Titus to Corinth to do ministry, to take messages, to probably take an opportunity for them to send money back and support other churches. And so Titus is the traveling messenger. And we read from the story, we gather that what's happened prior to Titus's departure, Paul sat down with him and said, Titus, I'm sending you to Corinth, and when you get there, these people, trust me, are going to treat you really well. And they're going to love you, they're going to support you, you have nothing to fear. This is a big task, but know when you get there, they're going to greet you, they're going to open their doors, they're going to give you a place to sleep, they're going to fill your belly with food, they're going to encourage you in ministry, and they're going to send you off safe in a time of travel. Paul now says in this letter that we just read, thank you, folks, because what I told Titus actually happened. You actually treated Titus very well. And we know again from this text that Paul knows this because Titus came back bragging on their behavior, saying, Paul, you were right. This was wonderful. I went there and they treated me so well. They encouraged me and they supported me. And I just can, in my imagination, see Titus just glowing with this knowledge that Paul was right and that these people were so caring. And because of this, Paul says thank you in essence. And he says to them, I am glad that I can have complete confidence in you. As I read this text, a challenge came to me through the Spirit, and that's what he does when you read Scripture and you're open to it, is can people have complete confidence in me? In other words, when someone tells someone else, go to Mark and he will be nice to you. Go to Mark and he will help you. Go to Mark and he will be hospitable to you. Go to Mark and he will tell you the truth. Go to Mark, etc. Will that be true? Will that actually be the case when they arrive on the scene? A couple thoughts there. We need to know in whom we have complete confidence, and it's those people to whom we need to send our friends and those we're trying to help. So if I know you and I trust you and I have a friend who comes to me or a new person who comes to me and says, who can help me? If you're a mechanic and you're an honest mechanic and a good mechanic, I'm going to send them to you. If you are a doctor and a good doctor, I'm going to send them to you. If you're a counselor and a good counselor, I'm going to send them to you. And this has exactly happened. You may be watching this and saying, Mark has done that. Now, if you're a mechanic and I know that you don't treat people well, I'm not going to send them your way. If you're a doctor and you're not doing well with your patients, I'm not going to send them your way. You get my point here. And this is important for us, not just for mechanics and doctors and pastors and counselors. It's important for all of us. So think about this. Can we have complete confidence in each other? Can people have confidence in you? As a confidant, as a parent, as an advice giver, as a person in your vocation, as a person who represents Christ well, as a person who puts the money where their mouth is, as a person who is non-hypocritical, as a man or a woman who will tell the truth when asked to tell the truth, or a man and woman who will refrain from speaking when they know what they would speak would be betraying a trust or opening the word for gossip. We need to understand that we need to be people that can be said about us, I have complete confidence in you. I hope that is something that you know about people in your life, that there are people in your life that you have complete confidence in. And I pray and hope that people can say the same thing about you. So that's the challenge for me. I thought I'd pass it on to you as a challenge. But again, listen to Paul's words to the people who love Titus just as he said they would. He said, I am glad I can have complete confidence in you. Thank you, Corinthian Christians, for such a good example. And thank you for living up to that as God leads you to do so. Thanks again for joining us. Join us next week. Thank you.